Tuesday, NXT was on. Guess who came back? I guess that whole try to get fired didn't bloody well work. Anyway, it's NXT. It's Tuesday. It's Andrew. It's DA Wrestling. Let's get going. On today's show, well, like I said, guess who's back? Bayley, Guillia, ROXANNE, and CORA get into a giant brawl, which ends up starting a brawl also in the back, which then leads to a match. It's kind of cool. A lot of fighting. North American Championship was on the line here. The Heritage Cup title was on the line. Oba Femi defended his title. 3 championship matches. And we're going to talk some other stuff. Anyway, if you're liking the content down below, make sure you subscribe. Should pop up on the side here like this. Probably in bright light shaft flash away. It says subscribe in pink and yellow maybe. That's probably what it will be this time. Hey guys, we thank you for all your support. Well, spoiler out there, we thank you very much. But let's start going on today with, well, Corey Graves is back. You know, there was a point in time where Corey Graves was very upset that he was not going back to NXT. He was upset by it. He tweeted about it. Deleted the tweet about it. Sounded like he was trying to get fired. Shows up on NXT now. Says he's really happy to be there. All those things. It's almost like they said, you know what, Corey, you're not that great or something. I don't mind Corey Graves. I think at times he's a little low over the top. But now it's almost like an interesting dynamic. If you listen to tonight, you had Booker T there. And you had Corey Graves there. And the poor guy in the middle. Corey Graves and Booker T were almost agreed to each other almost every single time. It's almost like they all of a sudden apparently don't dislike each other, which is good. Because we can't have that dissension over there. And Corey Graves seems to have put his foot in the mouth and said, you know what, I was going to go do this anyway. Getting fired probably wasn't working. Good for him, though. Glad. You know, he's got a child at home. He's got Carmella. He said life is pretty good. You're doing commentary on NXT. It's a massive show in the CW. It's broadcast all over on Netflix, right? All on Netflix, except in the US, where it's on the CW. You should be happy. There's a lot of guys out there who'd want that job. Trust me on that one. I would like that job. I have no experience in commentary. Anyway, the show started off. Well, we're not going to start off at that point there because we'll get to it shortly. Bayley ended up coming down to NXT like she said she was going to do. She comes down there, starts praising, yes, I'm home. It's a great place to be. I'm happy to be here, right? Roxanne Perez comes out. Well, actually, that's a bit. First off, Guillia comes out, and she praises Bayley for all her things. And rightfully so. Bayley was at one point a mainstay in NXT. She was the last four of the 4 horsemen to be brought up to the main roster. So she was there for a lot longer than everybody else. Did the whole hugger gimmick there. Got rid of that crap after a while. And now she's back in the more newer form of Bayley. With the purple hair. Right? Guillia said she's so great. All this stuff. She just looked up to her. Everyone was going all lovey-dovey. And then Roxanne and Cora Jade showed up. All right? Cora Jade didn't really say much. Roxanne Perez did, though. Saying, you know, Bayley, you know, I was going to praise you. I'm not going to take all the things you did away from me from here, what you did in NXT. I'm not going to take that away from you because you can't. But while she's doing this, the entire crowd in NXT is booing her like she's Dominic Mysterio. You can't hear a word she's saying. Not in the slightest. You can barely make anything out. God, I hope it wasn't pumped in crowd noise. I don't think it was. There's a big section up there with like 7 people with a big sign that said boo. Well, which led to Roxanne being very upset by everybody booing her. And said, babe, why don't you tell Gio why you're really here? We all know you just want the title. Because it's the best brand. With the best women's division. She's not wrong. Like, it is actually probably the best women's division in all of wrestling. even off the main roster stuff, it is phenomenal. Yes, a lot of the girls there are still very much learning and so forth there, but they have a ton of talent with Kalani Jordan, right? Jada Parker, Carmen Petrovic, right? Fallon Henley, Stephanie Fakir, Julia, Roxanne, Cora Jade. I can still keep going. Which this all led to a brawl. Now, Bayley never said that she was there for the title, but it led to a brawl. A big brawl to the point where all the security referees came down, could not hold these girls apart. They were fighting each other. Hair was pulling, fists were throwing, people were getting kicked. Right? Before all that, though, it's going to lead me to the next part now, folks, is that Bayley said this place is great. He's got people like Jada Parker there, right? Carmen Petrovic, Kalani Jordan. She mentions this. It kicks out to the back while they're all brawling. And Jada Parker's like, oh, Bayley just said my name again. That's awesome. That's like the third time in the second time in 3 weeks. It's fantastic. Kalani Jordan stepped up and made a really smart ass comment to her. Right? Jada Parker replied. Kalani Jordan says, just because you're a mean girl doesn't mean you're a tough girl. Or something along those lines. Whereas Jada Parker's reply was, just because you're pretty doesn't mean you gotta be a mean girl. They start getting slightly into it. Right? Petrovic comes involved saying, guys, you should all be peaceful, show love, because apparently she's in love with Adonis. Yeah, about that. Anyway. So, that ends up leading to a match for the evening between the two. We'll get to that in a bit. But the fight ended up going so long, they had to fight all the way to the outside and back to the curtain. Right? And we're going to find out what goes on later on. But big brawl out. I'm sure in the next couple weeks or so, or weeks or so, there's going to be a nice big match that comes up between those two against Cora Jade as well as Bayley and Julia. But we'll see what goes on there. Anyway, moving on. North American title is on the line tonight. Big old boy there. Tony D'Angelo. The boss. Took on. What the hell's his name? Took on Rich Holland. That was a good match. Two pretty big boys going at it. Rich Holland ended up losing the match too because Izzy Dane showed up and basically kicked Rich Holland when he was in a powerbomb situation. Right? And Don and began the pin. Very shocked by the fact that Izzy Dane came back because what happened a number of months ago. But before that, though, Sean Spears and his group of people, Nico and what the hell's his name again? Brady, Bronky, Bronson. No, Bricky. Becky. Don't really matter. Brooks. They came out and started a brawl with Tony D'Angelo's crew. Fight broke out there. Sean Spears tried to interfere. Didn't really work out very well. Which led to a match between the Underbrush and Stacks and Luciano versus Brooks and the new guy, Nico, who's a big 6'3" former tight end. Huge. Big dude. 240 or something like that. Huge. But he's not in the NFL. Anyway. We looked at that match down there, which ended up being the debut of Nico's wrestling debut, right, with Sean Spears and Brooks. Very good match. Very showed off Nico. Nico ended up getting the pin. Right? I think it was a big boot that caused him to win there. Pinning Stacks, who was the underboss. Underboss wasn't very happy about this. The fact that Tony D'Angelo was not there to help out. When he confronted Tony D'Angelo in the back later on, Tony D was like, "You've been underboss for 2 years. You gotta be able to figure this stuff out on your own." Not wrong. He's not wrong at all. Corey Graves even agreed with it. He's like, "That's not wrong." And I'm going to agree with Corey Graves with this too. He's not wrong. Like second in command. Do the job. Figure out. Really shows off Sean Spears' group though too. Obviously, I like what Sean Spears is doing down there. Right, he is more of like, it looks like he's more of a training prime view down there now than what he was doing in AEW, which is great for Sean Spears. It's constantly fantastic for him. All right, Heritage Cup. Now, For those guys who are new to the channel, who don't watch a lot of NXT, the Heritage Cup is basically something they started in NXT UK a number of years ago. That system has been defunct, the whole NXT UK. Too bad too, because there's a lot of good wrestlers came out of there. You had Walter come out of there, which is now Gunther. Right? You had the big boy Tyler Bate, right? Pete Dunne, Rhea Ripley, Tony Storm. It goes on. So we end up having a Heritage Cup match, which has been held for a while by Charlie Dempsey, which Lexus King, who, if you guys don't know who Lexus King is, that is Brian Pillman Jr. Brian Pillman, the late Brian Pillman's son. Now, they really posted out there a lot there on the show that this is Brian Pillman's kid. And he's really trying to shake off, or, actually shaking off the whole legacy of his father. They always seem to always talk about his father in a bad light. The ticking time bomb, Brian Pillman. Look, Brian Pillman was a fantastic wrestler for what he was. But for what he was a good wrestler. Very good friends of the Hearts. Trained in Calgary, I believe. With the Hearts. Anyway. Alexis King had his match here. His first defending match. He won that title, that trophy off of Charlie Dempsey, that championship. It's a big, giant trophy he has to carry around with. Just so you guys know, it's not a belt. It's a massive trophy. It's like yay high. Looks pretty heavy. Not a lot of fun to probably carry around with. So, Matt, if you guys don't know how the rules of the Heritage Cup matches work, it goes to about 4 rounds, right? Whoever gets the most pins in those rounds wins. After every round, there's like a break, so it's a little bit like boxing. It's a 2-minute round. At the end of 2 minutes, you all go to the corners, take a little breather, have a little water, have a cup of coffee, and then go back out again. Okay, so about 4 rounds. Okay, so Charlie Dempsey's trying to win this thing back, right? Because that's like all he has. Like, he has William Regal's kid. That's all he has. They haven't done anything else with Charlie Dempsey as far as this stuff goes. He's good where he is, but I feel like they should kind of move him to like the North American title at some point. I feel that'd be a good idea. Anyway, Charlie Dempsey, right, ends up losing the first pinfall to Lexus King. Lexus King gets it, right? Eventually, Charlie Dempsey tags it up. Now, in between these rounds, Charlie Dempsey has a corner man. They're allowed to have corner men, right? Lexus King has no one. He's trying to be all clean and straight edge. Not the same straight as CM Punk, but more like don't cheat. Well, somebody put brass knucks in one of his things. He noticed them. Didn't want to use them. Thought about it. Didn't want to use it. He didn't use it. But he did kick Charlie Dempsey's right in the ding dongs. Now, it's kind of a throwback because the first time they met, every time they met, he accidentally headbutted him in the ding dong while Charlie Dempsey was trying to jump over him. Led to a disqualification. Right? Obviously, things happen. Right? But he kind of threw back there. He kicked him in the ding dong, got the pin in the 4th round to win and keep the title. My prediction for the Lexus King thing is eventually Lexus King is going to become, because the way they're paying their father is that he cheated a lot. The way they're paying out Brian Pillman Sr. as a guy who just cheated a lot to win. Well, this is going to happen this way. I guess eventually see the Lexus King full heel turn, almost full Brian Pillman. The ticking time bomb. I can almost see this happening. We'll wait and find out. It might take some time. I feel this is where it's going to be leading to. So, moving on. Oba Femi versus Eddie Thorpe. Oba Femi won the match. Now, Eddie Thorpe got a lot more offense than I expected in this match. Right? I expected Oba Femi to come in there and just dismantle Eddie Thorpe, considering how much he hates Eddie Thorpe. I was wrong. Thorpe nearly pulled this off a few times. Very close pinfalls. He nearly pinned Oba Femi right in the get-go within the first 2 minutes of the match. Hitting with some kind of knee. Almost got him. Oba eventually hits him with that destructive bomb that he does and wins. But Eddie kicked out a few times of other things too, like a massive chokeslam from Oba. Okay? So, Eddie Thorpe looked really good. A lot better than I expected. Like, really was a lot better than I expected here. Wasn't expecting much. I'm not a big fan of Eddie Thorpe. I'm just not. Like, I love Oba Femi. He's fantastic. I expect him to be on a big roster at some point there, and I wouldn't be upset if he beat the living crap out of Cody Rhodes. As much as I like Cody, I wouldn't be upset by that at all. Not the slightest. In fact, I'd encourage it. But Oba Femi ended up winning the match. After the match is over, Trick Williams comes in and confronts Oba Femi. And you maybe ask yourself, how do you just mention the first time you mentioned Trick Williams? Yeah, I know. And we get to why. So, Trick Williams ends up face to face with Oba Femi like this. Oh, you want to go again? Eddie Thorpe tries to get in the way there. Trick Williams takes him out with that knee that he does. They just stare at each other and NXT goes off the air. Now, Trick Williams, early in the night, slapped the piss out of Wesley, which is leading to a match for next week. So, remember when I said that Brawl was going all the way to the back there? In the back there, this relatively new guy, Dean Lennox, right, had a match with Wesley. Now, they showed this at the back there when Dean was kind of shooting his mouth about some stuff. They said he was going to be wanting to challenge for the NXT title at some point. Wesley laughed at him, right? You know, which led to a match because he was laughing at him because after Trick Williams slapped the piss out of him. Because he shot his mouth off to Trick Williams. Wesley did. So, Wesley really comes to the match, attacks Lex right away. Very easy win, very clean win, very quick win. And then challenges Trick Williams. Trick Williams comes on out. Did you want a shot? Sure. Done. Next week, Trick Williams versus Wesley. Should be a really good match, to be honest with you. Should be really, really good. That was pretty cool about that, actually. Also, so remember how I mentioned earlier about Carmen Petrovic? She's all lovey-dovey because with Shanti Diaz-Anis. Which is more of the story than I think of. So I think he's still kind of seeing this, what's her name? Nikita Lyons. I'm just saying. I don't see it happening that much longer. But anyway, Petrovic comes in, has a match with Jada Parker because Jada Parker challenged her right before for the whole thing with Kalani. After the whole thing with Kalani. For the match, very well-rounded match. I really like how Jada Parker, how they're really pushing her and pursuing her. She's very good. Out of that group of those two guys and her, she's really the only one that really stands out more than everybody else. Carmen Petrovic ended up winning the match there. Only after Kalani Jory came on out, right, and distracted Jada, right, for Petrovic to get the win. And she's really cute, that Petrovic. I'm not lying. Canadian girl from Toronto. Lovely, fantastic, lovely girl. She's also, I think she's originally from Ukraine, but came to Toronto when she was like 3. Something like that. I was reading up about her. Very cute girl. Very talented girl, too. That girl can literally kick your crap out of you. There's a black belt, like literally Taekwondo. Good for her. Maybe Jiu-Jitsu. No, it's Taekwondo or karate. Cute, and you kick the crap out of you. What more can you want? Seriously. So, now that obviously that match happened there. Kalani Joy getting away. There's now a thing starting with Kalani versus Jada. The way I see it right now, other than CORA Jade and ROXANNE are eventually going to move to the main roster. They're beginning to set up the new extension of the next women they want to really feature. Petrovic, Jada Parker, Kalani Jordan. All very, very beautiful women, all very, very good in the ring. Along with Stephanie Vakir and Julia, obviously, this is like the new generation of the NXT. Speaking of Stephanie Vakir, she has really made it clear that she really, really wants her match with Fallon Henley for the women's North American title. She's cute too. I'm a big fan of Stephanie Vakir. Just followed her on TikTok. Yeah, she's great. Beautiful girl. Anyway, next week we're getting Stephanie Vakir will probably be in attendance next week to watch the match because we're getting the women's North American title match of Fallon Henley versus Shotzi. I don't see Shotzi winning this in the slightest. It's going to be probably Fallon Henley with some kind of funny stuff from the rest of her group. And then actually going to be Stephanie McCure that wins. Looking forward to it as well. So let's see what else happened here. Well, that's basically it. That was pretty much next in the next show. So next week, obviously, we're getting the women's tag team championship match. Right, we're getting Bianca Belair and Naomi versus Lash Legend and Jakari Jackson. I really hope Lash. I kind of want. It's probably not going to happen. It probably will not happen. But I definitely would like to see Jakari Jackson and Lash Legend win. I think they deserve it. I think they're very excellent talent. And I want to see a Belair heel turn. I really, really do. I want to start seeing that process happen. I think it'd be great for Belair because honestly, she is annoying as a face. I mean, I wasn't the biggest fan of her in NXT to begin with, but she was better in my eyes. But my eyes don't matter. I'm working at WWE. I do this. It's fun. So, that happened. Also, like I said, we're getting Shotzi versus Fallon Henley next week. We're getting next week as well Wes Lee versus Trick Williams. We did get a scathing promo, though, today from Ethan Page. Apparently, he really likes people breaking people's bones. It's a great look for Ethan Page. I'm not going to lie to you. Way better than anything else. Like, all ego Ethan Page. Hamlin Boy is looking fantastic in NXT. They are using him so much better than AEW ever did. Makes you wonder about AEW sometimes. Really does. Anyway, look out for tomorrow for AEW's recap of Dynamite there, because there's some things I want to talk about there, especially with Britt Baker, the news I've heard over the past day or two, and what might happen with that. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. This is NXT recap in a nutshell, in a comedic nutshell kind of way. Hey, make sure you follow us there on X, DA Wrestling or DA Sports Pod, whichever one you want to find or look up. That's one of us. Make sure you subscribe here on YouTube. Follow us on TikTok. I'm not always on there, to be honest. I'm not always on Instagram either. We have an Instagram product called DA Wrestling. Don't do a lot of stuff on there, guys. I really don't. I think I just don't think there's anything on there. Make sure you go try and follow Doug at D Lions 1991. Somebody need him. He needs to get more on there for just post funny crap. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot. This is DA Wrestling. This is NXT in a recap. Talk to you later.